I'm back by popular demand. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted to see whether I should start introducing myself. So I'm Florence, aka Baddest Bee on the Block, aka Flo Shay. I'm really glad that you guys have come back to gain some more wisdom, knowledge and understanding. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I prepared for my physician associate interview. I'm also going to be giving you guys tips on how you can smash your PA interview, leaving absolutely no crumb at all. No crumb. You walk out like this.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
First of all, I wanted to say a big congratulations if you've been given an interview. But also, if you haven't been given one, well done for coming and starting early. That is my biggest tip. Start preparing as soon as you hit that subscribe button. As soon as you hit that submit button. But can you please subscribe? Thank you. You could sort of see it as like an act of manifestation. Are you trying to tell yourself that I shouldn't prepare because I might not get one? That's not the mentality to have, is it? I know that interviews can be very scary, and that is why you are scrolling through YouTube trying to find a video advice and you're trying to find some kind of revelation, and you've come to the right place. The PA course is new and the resources out there is not many, and that is why I decided to create a 20,000 worded ebook. And till this day, I don't know how I did it. I actually do not know. I don't know what came over me. It must be the Holy Ghost. When I got my interview, I had a lot of feelings, and I think that you guys might be able to relate. It was my first experience of this type of interview, and I kind of put a lot on it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. But also I felt like these people are going to look into my soul. They're going to look inside me and basically assess whether who I am is worth a place on their course. You can see the way my self-esteem was playing on me like big time. I would say even an hour before my interview, I was so nervous. Here's a clip of me stressing the hell out. Hopefully when you watch this video, you can see that you can make it out on the other end. First of all, it's important to note that there are different types of interviews that you could get for the PA course. So it could be MMI, is it panel, is there a presentation, is there a group task? I know some university you have to submit some kind of piece of work, but there was a time I heard that there was maths. What? And I don't know, I just went in the other direction and I've never heard anything since then. Oh. Okay. Is it a virtual or in-person interview? So obviously for the last 2 cycles, it has been virtual, and I just really hope that you guys can have an in-person one, because I'm saying this, we are going to the street. This summer we're going to the street. And another thing is, how many interviews are you gonna have? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? We need to mentally prepare ourselves. We need to check out the crowd, who's out there, who's our audience, because this is our show. This is our show, okay? Some general tips on preparing and how I prepared. I used a lot of medicine resources, and don't be afraid to use that. So I used Medic Portal, I used a bunch of books, I used the student room, and I've kind of said this many times because the skills and qualities are very similar between a doctor or PA or any other healthcare professional in the NHS. So please don't be afraid to use that. Also look at the FPA website, and also don't forget to reread your personal statement. Highlight all the experiences that you talked about and see whether you can elaborate more on those experiences for a minute or so. So for me, what really worked was typing up my answers word for word to the common question. I feel like a lot of people go with a bullet point approach so that they don't sound scripted, which is good. But I think for me, I wrote it out in full and then I went into bullet points, because when I had bullet points, I was like, okay, so here's a sentence, like where do you go from here? I'll be like, so I would like to be a PA because I like science, and yeah. You just start to waffle, and you don't want to waffle. Try and explore that reflection and see like where you want to take it, and then cut it down to bullet points. I just think that makes sense to me. Definitely don't script your answers, don't memorize them, but have an awareness of what you want to say. Definitely check out Karma Medic's video. He goes into detail on how he prepared using this approach, and I think it's A1. Please follow me back, I'm such a beg. Another thing, but so important, you need to practice. Practice! Flipping practice. You are sitting there not practicing. Like, you have to, because you need to talk, get that information out your mouth and do it regularly. Talk to your personal tutor and see if they can give you a mock interview. Through your careers advisor at your university, family and friend, literally have a list of questions and send it to them and ask them to pick you any question. Do as many mock interviews as you can, especially like 2 weeks before your interview. You want to be putting in those mock interviews. The more that you stimulate that kind of environment of, I'm so nervous, like, what if I answer this wrong? The more your body doesn't see it as a threat, and you don't go into that flight, fright, or is it fight? I don't know. It doesn't go into that response because it's not scary. It's been in this position before. So you want to replicate that and stimulate that as much as possible so that you're focused less on your nerve and more on your delivery and the content of your answers. Before you start, brainstorm your experiences so that you know that you have a lot in the bank. A lot of people think that they don't have enough work experience, but you do. You have experiences and you can use them. It doesn't have have to be entirely health related. How did I prepare? I mainly prepared, related my experiences to the skills that make a good PA. So communication, empathy, teamwork, resilience, problem solving, time management. So I also looked at the NHS core values, so compassion, commitment, and here are the rest. I looked at the reality or the challenges, you could say, that is currently facing the PA role. I looked at the duties and their limitations, but also I had to look who is coming in to, change the game, which is the GMC. And additionally, I looked at the challenges that are currently facing the NHS. So I looked at the hot topics. There are different frameworks that you can use to answer your interview questions. I made a post on this. There is the self approach, there is the STAR approach, there's the 4 R's, there's the TAG framework. Go follow me if you want more tips on how to do well in life. So how do you reflect on your work experience? I think that every question that you get in an interview is assessing something. It's assessing whether you have a skill or quality, an awareness, and that is something that you have to think about before you start talking. Firstly, you need to understand, let's take communication as an example. What is good communication skills? How do you show good communication skills? Eye contact, going down to the patient level, things like that. And why do you think doing all of these things can help the patient, your interaction with the patient, but also how can it help your interaction in a team? Once you understand that, and once you're able to break it down like that, you then understand that is your reflection. Definitely check out, I think his name is Future Doctor on YouTube. I kind of like show it here, but he goes into great detail with everything that I'm saying. Let's say, for example, it's teamwork. He would explain how you can show good teamworking skills. So when thinking of my work experience, my role as a clinical support worker, I try to use the STAR approach when describing it. I think it's good to use specific examples. What was the scenario? What was the scene? What was your role? Who was the patient? Who was the customer? You need to be specific, and I know that even if you've been a nurse and you've done this so many times, pick a scenario that best demonstrates your best communication skills. With communication, I tend to go down the avenue of adaptable communication or non-communication and the importance of that. So, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm going to, give you an example, and I'm going to try and act this out. Right, we are ready, people. So let's say the interviewer asked me, so Florence, when have you shown good communication skills?
During my role as a clinical support worker, a patient came in with really severe learning difficulties, and I was supposed to prep her for her scan. However, during this, I could see that the patient became very, very distressed because the only way that she could communicate was through sign language, and neither the sonographer or the care assistant knew sign language. And I could imagine that if somebody's trying to give you instructions to take off your clothes, that would be very, very distressing. And coincidentally, I was taking British Sign Language classes at the time, so I spelled out my name to her. I asked her for her name, and I could see that she immediately became more relaxed, and I tried to demonstrate what the scan and what will happen to her when she reached the bed, and through that she was more engaged and she was able to get that scan, and the carer and everyone thanked me for taking the time to do that. I think it was important that I took the time and had the patience to tailor my communication to her at that point so that she was more comfortable and so that she doesn't have to relive this traumatic experience if she wasn't able to do the scan. I think what I learned from this is it really highlighted to me the importance of adaptable communication skills, because the NHS is serving a very, very diverse population, and we're going to meet people from all walks of life, and there are going to be people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, people who have lower health literacy. So it's really important that we are getting that crucial information across to patients, but also creating a space where they can understand, comprehend, and eventually reach a really patient-centered, tailored approach.
What did you guys think? I decided to give you another one. I'm now reflecting on my experience shadowing a doctor. This is going to be relating to communication skills as well. This one I'm going to wear the glasses.
I've also seen good teamworking skills when I was shadowing a doctor, and he was trying to interact with a patient with dementia to investigate her symptoms and the problems that she was having. I could see immediately that the patient was very, very closed off and wasn't really engaging with the doctor, but then I observed the doctor's change in their verbal and non-verbal communication. He got down to her level, he maintained really good eye contact, showed that he was paying full attention, and he also slowed down his speech and repeated himself a couple of times, but I know that was okay because he must have understood that the patient had dementia, so that was necessary so that the patient could understand and grasp that information. From this, I could immediately see the patient open up, notice the doctor, and talk to the doctor about her concerns. And I think this then allowed her to relay all the concerns that she had been having and to trust that doctor and create a good relationship. And the doctor just continued to extract the necessary information and also to reassure the patient as well. So from this experience, I really understood that good communication skills as a PA also ensures that you're giving the patient dignity and respect. You are taking the time, you avoid medical jargon, having flexibility in your communication so that you can give the patient an opportunity to make a well-informed decision and allow them to consent and allow them to have a say in their treatment plan. And I think through this, we developed that mutualistic approach and that patient-centered approach to adherent and in turn provide high-quality care to patients. So that is
a quick example on how I reflected on my work experience. But I would like to let you guys in on a little secret. Shout out to Celine at MedCell, who sort of told me that interviews is sort of like playing a game. And I was like, what? I don't understand. What do you mean playing a game? It's not just you ask and I talk. But with the two examples that I just went through, you could apply that answer to a question like, describe a challenge that you've had to overcome. That experience was quite challenging, wasn't it? It was a challenge that you had to overcome. How about a time a patient had an impact on you? That that patient definitely had an impact on me because I learned the importance of adaptable communication skills, and I would feed that forward in my future career as a PA. Describe your work experience. This is my work experience and I'm describing it. What skills make a good PA and how have you demonstrated that? Communication skills is important as a PA, and there was a time a patient came in with severe learning difficulties. Also, how about a fascinating fact about yourself? Did you know I had this challenge that I had to overcome where a patient gets, so having that specific answer on lock, you can apply it to 5, 6, 7 different questions. This is where I might drop. Yeah, oh, you get it? You understand? Because you've prepared that way, there won't be a question that you won't be able to answer. There wouldn't. You just need to, manipulate it and twist it and tell her it. If you get to a stage that you're feeling very overwhelmed or you actually do not know where to start, make sure that you have set answers for the common questions like these. What is a PA and how do they benefit the NHS? Why physician associate over a doctor? What challenges are currently facing the PA role? Can you tell me what you've learned from your work experience? How do you cope with stress? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And why would you like to attend this university? I think those are really good questions that you can start on, and hopefully that will give you the momentum to keep on going and explore other questions. I also looked at behavioral questions, so describe a time that you worked in a team. I wanted them to know that I have good behavior, man. I'm a good girl. But also the weird, edgy questions like, how do your friends describe you? They say I'm the shit, I'm the best bee on the block, but they say not their block though. Your favorite book or movie. They might ask you about, your favorite hobby, interest. With hobbies and interests, just make sure that you are talking about how it might help you on the course, just to de-stress. It's intense, man. It's intense. Now let's go into the ethics of things. Now, you need to make sure that you are familiar with the 4 pillars of ethics. Let's do a quick lecture. I don't have a stick, but I'm going to use nail varnish. Number 1, autonomy. Patients have the right to make an informed decision on their treatment and also to refuse treatment as well. But this is not absolute. Beneficent. Always act in the best interest of the patient. Always do good, basically. Non-maleficent is do no harm to the patient. Justice, fairness of the community, resources. Some other things to consider with ethics when answering a question is confidentiality, consent, and capacity. And then you might also want to explore the social, physical, financial, and psychological aspect of whatever topic or ethical scenario you have been given. I think in any ethical question, you can talk about the psychological effect, educating whoever it might be, and also offering support of some kind and talking with them. Some common ethical topic, euthanasia, abortion, and Ali Abdul has a great playlist on all of this, and follow me back to, if you see that, I'm such a babe. Fam, I'm shooting my shot, take it, leave it. But that playlist is quite sexy, it's quite sexy. I also went through ethical scenarios. For example, your colleague might be stealing something, or your colleague might be drunk, your colleague might be cheating. Scenarios that challenges like your scope of practice on what you can't and can do. Data protection, Gillick competency, that's a big one. Patient safety. Ollie Burton, amazing guy, has amazing videos on all these ethical scenarios, and I used to kind of just watch them before I went to bed, and he just talks such a nice soothing voice as well. So, I think when I'm faced with an ethical question, if it's a topic, I try to define what it is in the beginning. And signposts, oh my gosh, signposts for every other question, like signposts in the beginning if you're going to be talking about a lot of points. So in this answer, I'm just going to be talking about a time I showed communication skills and also team working skills. Tell them what you're going to talk about before you start, because if they cut you off for some reason, you already have told them I was going to talk about team working, but you cut me off. So I first tried to identify the ethical principle that was the main issue here. So whether that was autonomy, beneficent, I think this was good because it showed off my knowledge of medical ethics. And then I weighed up both sides before I started giving my opinion. Do not just jump in and say abortion is wrong because of the Bible. What? No. Don't do that, because as a PA, you must see both sides and you must be able to have a balanced argument. It's all about balance, all right? And then at the end, you might want to conclude with your opinion, but explain why. And yeah, that's how I approached it. Also, you might want to delve into hot topics. I would make mind maps on these. You don't need to go through all of them. There are so many. Do not give yourself a heart attack, please. So I would go over topics like obesity, COVID, mental health, the aging population, and sort of in my mind think of solutions and ways forward and how maybe the PA role can help in that as well. Now moving on to presentations. I didn't do a presentation for mine, but if I was going to do one, I would say divide your presentation into at least 2 sections. So maybe your question is discuss how the PA role benefits the NHS. I would first approach it with what are the challenges in the NHS right now, and then the second part is how the PA role can help in overcoming the demand, the workload, and providing continuity. Also, start strong and end strong, okay? You want to make sure in that sandwich the bread is thick and soft and crunchy, yeah? For me, I would start off my presentation like, hello, my name is Florence Shaye. In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about repeat the question. I'm going to be dividing up my presentation into then end off strong by maybe saying something like, and that has come to the end of my presentation. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I was wondering if you have any questions for me. If they allow you to use notes, I would say try and use them less. You don't want to be, know what you want to say and look down max 3-4 times. If they allow you to put notes on your screen, I would say use that rather than paper. But if you're not allowed to, please don't do it all. Don't say Florence come and tell you that, all right? Thank you. Also, have questions to ask the interviewer at the end. Make sure that the information, the answer, is not on the website. You don't want to be looking like one buffoon, all right? I think I asked questions about placement and pastoral support. Remember throughout to always try and sell yourself and your skills. And with every question possible, link it back to PA. Every answer, every section that you give, link it back to PA, because that will stimulate yourself to try and understand, why am I saying this and why is this relevant to them to pick me. Try and remember that the interviewers are human, right? They're human. They've done many interviews so far. Be yourself so that you can stand out, because everybody's going to have that very uptight approach. If you've done your research, you've done the preparation, and you like making jokes, make a couple jokes, make them smile, be different. Ain't nobody want a dry ass hole. Now, in terms of like non-verbal communication, wear something that reflects your personality. Obviously, make sure it's smart and whatever, but wear something that make you feel good, like make you feel like you the shit. I know that when I'm looking good and I feel like all eyes on me, I'm confident, okay? And I don't need to worry about how I'm looking because I know I look good.
You look good!
Also, eye contact. This is where recording yourself really helps, because you can pick up on things that you do, like swinging on your chair, fidgeting, and all that stuff. In terms of like virtual tips, make sure that all your equipment is working like days before, and try and set up on the day quite early. Be ready to log in 5 minutes before. Don't be like me where like 2 minutes before my interview I was grabbing toast because I forgot to eat. So don't be afraid by the lag time. If there's connection issues, ask them whether they can hear you okay. Don't let that phase you or throw you off too much. Now, Florence, what if I have a mind blank? What if I don't know what to do? What if I don't know what to say? Relax, take a chill pill. Keep calm. If A, you don't understand the question, do not be afraid to ask the interviewer to please repeat the question or to rephrase the question. It is better than answering rubbish, all right? Especially during this time, your mind might go blank. Just go back to your experiences or go back to the key skills, and that should help trigger your memory. 2, if maybe you just have too much in your head, take a few seconds. Tell them, is it possible to have a few seconds to just think about my answer? You might think, oh, that doesn't look good because you're not answering straight away. It looks good because you are prepared to take your time before you go jump into something. That comes across good, in my opinion. And halfway through, if you feel like you're waffling or something, just drink some water, Collect the thoughts, drink it down, relax, keep calm. I think you can always remember that they are not going to ask you something that you cannot answer. They're not going to do that to you, okay? The questions were designed for you. In my opinion, interviews are like 20% content and 80% mentality, and how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your mind and your mindset as well. I would say like an hour before, don't look at any notes. Don't do that to yourself. But there are 4 things that I like to consider when I'm in an interview, and 4 things that I kind of tell myself. Number 1, have enthusiasm. Smile. Use your hands if you like to use your hands. Be excited. Be bubbly. If that's not you, that's okay. Fake it till you make it. Have confidence in what you are saying. Don't make them doubt you. Come across confident, but don't come across arrogant. We've got to move like Beyonce. We've got to be humble like Beyonce, but smash the game like her. This is really and truly your time to sell yourself. Additionally, have resilience, Florence. If you mess up on a question, if you have a mind blank, if there is a hiccup, it is okay. Because the main thing now is moving on and answering the next question as best as you can. There's nothing you can do about it. It's gone. That's it. But there is still an opportunity to make that up, and you don't want to lose out on that. And lastly, be honest, Florence. Having honesty and being truthful in your answers is very, very powerful. And it's okay to say that you do not know, and probably that you would look up on it, or my thought is Those are some 4 things that I have at the back of my head just to ensure that I can keep sane. I think nerves is something that I definitely struggled with a lot, and I tried different things for them. Sleep. Anxiety and sleep are connected like this. If I don't sleep well, my anxiety is like this. And hydrate. You want to ensure that you're putting less stress on that body. Give it what it needs. Exercise. Go on a walk. It seems for me it releases reduces a lot of anxiety. And also a tip that I had was like clench or clench, I don't know, and really. But the number one thing that I did was dancing to music, always Christian music. I would just dance, get it all out. Also prayer. I'm so happy that I'm a Christian because I can put all those worries in somebody else's house. Another suggestion I had was like power poses. It's like when you pose in a powerful position, it does something to you. Breathing exercises, I know you don't like hearing that, but the 4x4 technique helped. Meditation also helped for me. There were some calming teas that some people recommended to me. But make sure that you eat, because when you eat, sort of the energy goes towards your stomach and relieves some kind of anxiety, I believe. And if caffeine makes you anxious, avoid that. I also thought about maybe having an object, because I have ADHD, to fidget with. But also I would write down all my worries on a piece of paper and then scrunch it up and throw it away and say that I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm the baddest bitch, what can I do now? Also, I had to take the time to think of a plan B and know that even if this goes up, there's a backup plan. There's something that I can fall on, and there's a safety net, so that I don't believe that this is it, this is all I have. And I think that really relieves some anxiety as well. So that is it, guys. That is kind of all my tips, and feel free, guys, to contact me anytime, whether it's big, small, or micro. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you again soon.